What if you were led to believe that crime was the only way out? Then addiction takes over your life. You're in and out of jail, overdoses, near death experiences. This isn't theory, it is lived. What actually changes that trajectory, though? We are your whistleblowing shrinks, Dr. Teralyn and therapist Jenn, and this is the Gaslit Truth Podcast. Before we set this whole conversation on fire, make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell if you're on YouTube because supporting it matters.
And Dr. Teralyn and I are both deep prescribers, everyone. What does that mean? It means that we will help you get off of psychiatric medication safely for the brain and for the body. If that's something you're interested in doing, please give us a holler. Send us an email at thegaslittruthpodcast@gmail.com. We're welcoming Ronnie Costa to the show. Ronnie has worked in the treatment field since 2005 as a coach, counselor, and case manager, a certified chemical dependency counselor, and WCI life coach. Ronnie's work is shaped by lived experience. Growing up in poverty with a father in active addiction, he spent years in and out of jail from adolescence into his mid-20s, followed by severe addiction that led to multiple overdoses and life-threatening injuries. Recovery marked a decisive shift. Today, Ronnie's focus is clear, showing that even the most unstable starting points do not determine the outcome. Ronnie, welcome to our show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Grateful to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you. I'm so happy to have met you. Yeah. So just for context, Ronnie and I met for the first time in LA just a few weeks ago, and we were working on the same project together. And I'm like, let's have you on the show and talk about your life and how you got to be the person that you are now. So would you like to start sharing your story with us?
Yeah, I mean, I could start I'll start way back, and just kind of give you a little bit of background. Well, a lot of background. I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island. New England, Providence, Rhode Island is the hub. Well, it was the hub when I was growing up of the Italian gangster crime mafioso. New England is very crime heavy, mob heavy at the time. I was born in 75, so grew up through the 80s, early 90s, and grew up with 6 uncles. 5 of them were gangsters, like real deal wise guys, and wanted to be everything that my uncles were. My mother, on the other hand, wanted to keep us away from that. She did everything in her power to keep us away from that lifestyle. The more she tried to keep us away from it, the more I gravitated to it. I saw the money, I saw the gold, I saw the Porsches and the women, and growing up, I idolized it. So as a young child, I saw that committing crimes, you made a lot of money, you had beautiful women, you had really nice things, and I really idolized that as a child. So school wasn't important to me at all. Let's see, move forward a little bit. Started getting in trouble about 14, 15 years old. To kind of impress my uncles, to impress the neighborhood, I wanted to do the best I could to impress them, I guess.
Like to be the best little criminal you could be.
Yeah, I was going to be the best criminal I could be. The goal was to be that guy. And started getting in trouble, started getting arrested. Started committing crimes that no 14, 15, 16-year-old kid should have been committing. And started getting locked up really young and in and out of juvenile hall. At 17 years old, I remember the judge said to my mother, your son will be in prison the day he turns 18. So, like, there's nothing really, we're not going to help him. He's going to end up in prison the day he turns 18 years old. And shortly after I turned 18, I started getting locked up again as an adult. Unfortunately, but fortunately, I'm going to say this, my uncles were all gangsters, so we had mob lawyers. So it never stuck. Trouble, I'd commit crimes, I'd immediately get released. Providence police were all connected to the mob. The judges were connected to the mob. I never got held. So it just kind of reinforced I can do whatever I want. And I'm going to get out. I can go beat people up. I can rob banks. I can do whatever I want, and I'm going to be okay because my uncles or the cops are paid to let me out. 19 years old, I was introduced to. So let me go back a little bit to talk about drugs. The Italians, the mob, there is no tolerance for opiates. I say they do a little. Back then, they were doing a little bit of cocaine and a little bit of weed, but no opiates at all.
They drew the
It was,
line somewhere. There
it
was a
was
line drawn.
yeah.
Hmm.
You are a liability. No opiates at all. You're a liability. If you're strung out on pain meds, you're a liability. Wasn't allowed in the social clubs. Wasn't allowed in the strip clubs. So I just stayed far away. Plus, my dad was an addict. I saw what my dad's life looked like. It just wasn't interesting to me. I wanted to be like my uncles. Wanted really to grow up and be just like them. 19 years old, I was introduced to OxyContin. OxyContin hit the streets. Real like the original OxyContin. I don't know what year that was, but it really flooded
Mid
New England.
90s somewhere, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to say like 92, 93. But flooded New England, flooded the country. And I tried OxyContin and I fell in love. And I fell in love for a lot of reasons. It took me away from the streets. It took me away from that lifestyle, that chaotic craziness of trying to impress my uncles. Now that I'm strung out on OxyContin, now that I'm taking, not even strung out, but now that I'm taking OxyContin, I can't be in the public. I can't be seen because I'll get a beating.
Yep.
I'll be in trouble. So I enjoyed unfortunately, I say drugs saved my life in a lot of ways. OxyContin saved my life in a lot of ways. And you don't hear that when you hear people saying in meetings, drugs destroyed my life. For me, it was the opposite. It took me away from the lifestyle that I was raised in. And it was a rough ride for a couple of years. It really was a rough ride. In 2000, OxyContin for about 6-7 years. 2000, I was introduced to heroin. It was a lot cheaper. I was running out of money. I mean, there was just, I couldn't, once I was a mess and I was strung out, I couldn't come up with the money to do the OxyContin. It's quick. Heroin was a lot cheaper. Didn't want to be like my dad, but financially, I was strung out on opiates and I needed that fix. Got introduced to heroin around 2000. 9/11 happened, and my life was just a disaster, complete disaster. Just running amok. And when I say running amok, I was doing everything I could to stay afloat, but also hiding from family and hurting everybody closest to me at the same time because I was destroying my life. 2001, I went to treatment for the first time, and I remember I had this therapist or counselor at the time say to me, Ronnie, do you want me to slap you or hug you? And I looked at him and I thought, well, first let me back up a little bit. He was like, and I don't know if this is politically correct, but he was like flamboyant, very flamboyant, gay. And I looked at him and I was like, if you touch me, we're gonna have a serious problem. We have a serious problem. And but I say that to say that gentleman, that guy broke me in so many ways. Because you're not getting inside here. I was raised by some really mean guys, and I don't feel you're not gonna get inside. That guy broke me in 90 days. I mean, that guy had me crying, and
Oh, you were inpatient for 90 days.
90 days residential.
That's a long time. Can I just ask you a question about that?
Yeah,
Did
of course.
you get to inpatient voluntarily, or did you
I was tired. Yeah.
okay.
It was voluntarily. It wasn't court ordered. I was tired of running the streets. And I was tired of making a mess of my life. Things had gotten really, really dark. And between the violence, the crimes, things were really bad. And so voluntarily, I didn't get court ordered or anything like that. Courts, who knows? At that time, I was probably out on like 6 different bail charges, and they just kept releasing me. So that's why I said, fortunately, but unfortunately, I never got in trouble for the crimes I was committing, because of the family and the attorneys and all that stuff. So it left me to continue to make a mess on the streets. Went for treatment, came up on close to a year sober, and I went roller skating with a bunch of, not roller skating, ice skating with a bunch of guys and women from Narcotics Anonymous, and I broke my hand.
Ah.
I remember the person said to me, my sponsor at the time said to me, Ronnie, don't let them give you opiates. And I was like, no, I'm not going through that again. I know what that's like. It's not going to happen. As soon as I went to the hospital, a doctor gave me a shot of Dilaudid and a script for like 60 Dilaudid. And I remember getting back in the car and saying to that same person, no, I got no opiates at all. That started another run for another year and a half of me just, things got really, again, really dark, really fast, more violent, a lot more crime. Because I had nobody at that point. It was just me couch surfing. Yeah. I'm moving kind of quick, but 2003, I got a phone call from my dad. My dad had been sober about, I don't know, 10 years at that point. He was living in California, working for a treatment center. And his buddy from New England, him and his buddy from New England moved to California to get sober. Buddy opened a treatment center, and he says, Ronnie, why don't you come to California? There's nothing there for you. Why don't you come to California, give it a couple months, come out here and get sober, try it, And I was like, no, what am I going to go to California for? No. I fought it. But then I agreed. I had nothing in Rhode Island. I really had nothing, and I agreed. And went to Long Beach, California, and I got sober, and I fell in love with California, with SoCal. There was a lot of reasons I fell in love with it. I didn't know anybody. So the geographic, I don't know if you guys know that they say the geographic, they say it doesn't work. Moving to another city, another state doesn't work. If you're
Oh, when they say like, don't start over, you're just going to bring your problems with you.
You're just running. You're just running.
Yeah, it's not you're going to take your addiction with you.
Yeah.
But for me, it took me, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the streets of California. They wasn't like it was in the tight little New England. There's no Italian mob, and there's none of that.
Yes.
So it was a lot different for me. It worked. The geographic worked. Got sober in 2003 in Long Beach, and 2005 started going to school for counseling. I wanted to help people. I wanted to help kids that were just like me. More than drug and alcohol counseling, I wanted to work with troubled teens, and that's where I started. Started working in juvenile hall. Worked in juvenile hall for a couple of years, and because of my police record on the East Coast, after like 2 or 3 years, it actually took like 2 years for them to say to me, "Hey, Ronnie, unfortunately, your background check came back, and you can't be in the juvenile hall." It took
after 3 years of being there.
Because I was in California, and it was like Rhode Island, and who knows.
Yeah. Interesting.
So they moved me over to reentry, which was 18 to 25-year-old kids. 18 to 25-year-old young adults, youth offender reentry, which I fell in love with. Loved it. Loved the population. A bunch of little knuckleheads that were just like me, and I really fell in love with that population, and I did really well working with that population. Over the years, I transitioned. I worked in different areas of jail, different areas of treatment, not jail, but reentry programs. Also worked in residential drug and alcohol treatment.
How is that?
Residential drug treatment?
Yeah, how is that?
Oh, I was gonna get into it. I was gonna ask you guys. Do you guys want me to kind of slow down a little bit? Because this is so it's
you're doing fine. I know you're gonna get to the good stuff here too. Like
yeah. So we're gonna get
you're doing great.
2005 to 2008, 9, I worked reentry. 2008, I kind of transferred to residential treatment. One of my mentors at the time, some of the people I really looked up to at the time, told me to stay away from the chaos. I was living my life a whole different way than I was living in New England. You know, my life was clean. I had none of that chaos behind me. I was doing really good work and honest, ethical, integral work. And I walked into the treatment world in Southern California and I was like, these are fucking dirtballs. These people are fucking,
Yes.
I don't know if I swear, I
Did
apologize.
everybody
You
hear
can
that?
swear as much as you want.
You
All
might
right,
want to
so-
repeat that one.
Yeah, repeat
Oh,
it
I
one
will.
more
I will
time
if I
because people
can.
don't know this.
So I walked into the residential treatment world in Southern California and I was like, these people are fucking, it's like another fucking scam. It's a giant scam. I did find some good places that I could work for a couple years. but it
Before we
was
do
tough.
that,
Yeah,
before we go there,
yeah.
explain the giant scam.
Yep. What'd you see? What did you notice? What'd you see
All right,
happening?
So it's just for our listeners, Southern California, he's referring to as SoCal, is notorious in the addiction space for having easy methods to open a treatment center, correct? Like it's pretty easy to open a center. It's pretty easy to do these things. And it's also riddled with problems. So this is what he's going to be talking about.
Yeah. So around 2009, 2010, there was a thing called there's a bunch of different things we can talk about, but body
Mhm.
brokering. Body brokering is something that there's a movie that went out. There's a movie that came out a couple of years ago. I think it was around 22, 23 called Body Broker.
Yep.
That movie is identical to the way it really was back then. And probably the way it is now because it's happening over again now. And I'm going to explain that. Body brokering is when somebody gets paid, when Ronnie gets paid to send John Doe to Teralyn's treatment center. Teralyn's going to pay me more than you're going to pay me. You're going to give me a bigger percentage than Jenn than you'll give me. So I'm going to pick the facility not best on what's clinically appropriate, but on how much I'm going to get out of it, what the benefit is for me. It's not what's best for the client, it's what's best for me. That's what body brokering. There's a lot of different ways body brokering happens. That's one of them. Another thing that was happening.
Hold on. It's
Right.
not the unethical part is not just the person. So Ronnie choosing the bigger payer for himself. That's not it's also the treatment centers paying Ronnie for a head to put in the bed. Both of those things are unethical, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so many ways that body brokering happens. It would take us 3 episodes to go through it. But another thing I want to talk about is something called liquid gold. Liquid gold in 2010 was a way that people were making a lot of money. Insurance companies, 2010, 2011, I don't know an exact number. They were paying between $500 and $2,000 a cup of urine.
This is urine. Mhm.
Urine. So you're calling it liquid gold. So test a client. We have 50 clients in the facility. We test them 5 times a week times, let's just say $500. Multiply it. You know, we're talking millions. I mean, I could do the math real quick, but you got 30 clients in a treatment center that are testing 5 times a week at a low end of $500 a test. I mean, you're talking millions of dollars. So people were making a ton of money doing that also. And remember, I said I didn't work at facilities like that. I stayed far away from those type of facilities. But it was really difficult in those years, 2010, 2012. And I eventually walked away from treatment. I was like, I want nothing to do with it. I don't want my name wrapped up. When I went to school for counseling, ethics was like the class that was like really important to me. And I didn't want to be involved in any of that fucking chaos. I didn't want to get wrapped up in it. I got a record from back east. I'm not trying to get a
Well,
record.
Ronnie,
But
the interesting thing to me is that you grew up with criminal thinking. Like
yeah, yeah,
you had criminal thinking as part of the fabric of your life for a long time.
Part of your
yeah.
bone.
I was
And
yeah,
so here you are now sober, right?
yep.
you're sober and you are not thinking like a criminal anymore,
Yeah.
which is fascinating to me because coming from the prison system, Jen and I
Yep.
came from the prison
It doesn't
system.
work that way.
It
That's
doesn't
not
work
how
that
this
way,
works.
you know,
No.
and
Yeah.
you would have probably been labeled with antisocial personality
Yeah,
disorder
exactly.
Yeah.
easily. And once a criminal, always a criminal. And you're here
Absolutely.
to tell
Yeah.
us, you're here to tell us that that is not the case. That is not true. Why is that not true for you? What do you think clicked for you in those moments?
So moving back to, I was, so there's a couple things. So I realized at a young age when I first got strung out, I think when I got strung out, I realized the crime, the behavior, all that stuff, it's fun and all. It was fun at the time at 20 years old, but these guys don't care about me. These guys are not here for me.
Mhm.
All these people that I'm putting this work in for, that I grew up thinking that this was the way I wanted to live my life, it was me on my own at the end. And I wanted something more. My mother says all the time, people that know me from when I was a kid have always said that I was a very caring, loving kid, but I hid it. I hid it by being that bad boy, being that fake gangster, you know. So you asked the question, what clicked for me? I was tired of the chaos. I was tired of watching friends die in front of me. I was shot. I had a friend killed in front of me. I was stabbed. I got scars all over my body from the chaos. And I was tired of living that way, And I knew at that age, I knew that my days were numbered. I mean, I always had to look over my shoulder, either the police or guys I robbed or whatever. I was always looking over my shoulder, and I didn't want to live like that. I really didn't want to live like that anymore. And yeah, I think that was kind of and the big thing for me, like I said, moving to California changed my environment. It took me away from the chaos of Rhode Island, the chaos of everybody I know and like have all the access in the world. Moving to Southern California was like I had a cop say to me when I started working with I had a Long Beach police officer say to me when I started working with the reentry with the kids, he's like, Ronnie, if you get in trouble here, we can strike you out. Based on your record from back east, we can strike you out in California.
What does strike you out mean? What does that mean?
So they've changed it now. I don't think they have the 3 strikes.
Oh, the 3 strikes and you're
Yeah.
out rule?
Yep.
Okay, that's what you're talking
So
about. Okay.
they said because of my felonies back east, they could strike me out in California if I picked up a violent felony in California. So that also was like always in the back of my mind. Like I don't want to get in trouble. I'm here to.
So if you'd catch a case, you're out of the state or you're out of practicing or you're
No, this is
prison.
before.
You're
This
in
is before I
prison.
went. Yeah, this is even before I went to school. So
I see what you're saying.
I was in school and I was working as like a tech with this reentry program, and the cop said a Long Beach police officer said, if you get in trouble here, they can strike you out based on your violence from back east.
Makes
Based
sense.
on your record, we don't know how you didn't go to jail back east.
Yeah,
We
which
have no
basically
idea.
means strike you
Yes,
out
they
and put you in
do.
prison.
Yeah.
Like the 3
I mean,
strikes and
come
you're in
on.
prison.
Were they that oblivious to believe that
Well,
the
they
mob
saw-
world wasn't real?
Well, I didn't get into all that with them, but
suppose.
they saw
It's
the
a different.
record.
I'm telling you, the East Coast is very different than the West Coast. Like,
Yeah.
so the idea that the mob culture actually exists in that way on the East Coast is probably foreign for West Coasters to think about in some areas anyway.
They
of the West
they
Coast.
saw some of the charges. I had like armed robberies, I had kidnappings, and they were like, "How did you not go to jail? How did you not go to jail?" And I was like, "I don't know, don't know nothing."
And he's like, I do know. I
Yeah.
do know
Yeah,
exactly.
no clue, no idea.
But I have the biggest clue, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then
Um,
you enter into the treatment community world and you're kind of faced with a lot of the same unethical criminal behavior. And
Yeah,
we're not talking about of the clientele. We're
No, we're
talking
talking-
about
yeah.
of the staff and the
Yep.
owners of these rehabs.
absolutely.
So, yes,
Yep.
so talk more about that, please.
So, Yeah, so it was a whole different type of criminal. So now you have criminals,
Mhm.
white collar criminals that are not trying to get in trouble. These guys are making millions of dollars, doing liquid gold or body brokering or insurance fraud. And when they get a little bit caught or when they get nervous, they just shut down and open under a new name instead
I thought it
of
was so easy to
instead of it
open in SoCal.
instead of it
Like,
being Jenn's treatment center. Now it's Teralyn's treatment center, but we're still working together.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so I walked away from treatment. I went back to the jail system. I went back to parole probation, because I wanted nothing to do with the fucking chaos that was going on in treatment. And went back to probation and parole, and I enjoyed doing what I was doing. I didn't have to worry about all that insurance fraud. I didn't have to worry about all that nutty craziness that was going on in the SoCal industry. I mean, treatment, behavioral health world. Now, I want to say something also. It wasn't just SoCal. I think a lot of it started in Florida, and
yeah.
SoCal and
Yep.
Florida kind of battling to see who was worse. I mean, who could
Hey,
commit more
yeah,
fraud,
I
you
agree.
know?
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, Florida and SoCal were battling to see who could commit more fraud. Um,
Mhm.
I went back to probation and parole, and I loved what I was doing. Slowly, 2016, 2018, I started coming back and doing a little bit of like case management, a little bit of coaching. I was helping people build sober livings and set up sober livings. As long as we aligned and ethically, you were doing it for the right reasons, you're doing it for the client, you're not doing it because you're trying to get rich, I'll help you. I'm happy to help you.
Can you
And
explain what sober living is to our audience, please?
yeah, absolutely. So sober living is for clients coming out of treatment. It's initially, I mean, ideally for clients that have completed a rehabilitation center, they're now sober, 30 days sober, 60 days sober. And it's a place where it's a transitional living for clients to kind of get set up, to restart. A lot of times when you go to treatment, you have nothing left. And once you complete treatment, you want to be around people that are in recovery, that are sober. So you move into an environment with other guys. Uh, I, I mean, some of these sober livings have 60 guys in them, but on a good sober living has less than 12. So you move in with a group of guys, and you're all sober, working together to build that foundation. Start with those first recovery jobs, and start building and creating a life. And you keep each other accountable. So that's what sober living is. Sober living is a transitional living, where you can kind of get grounded, build a foundation, and start over again.
It can also be very problematic because it's an unregulated space.
It's very unregulated. Yeah. So again,
Mhm.
so there's no licensing with sober living. You don't need a license.
Mhm.
Anybody can set up a sober living in any
Yep.
house, anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very there's no licensing required at all for sober living. You can have 100 felonies and you can open a sober living.
Mhm.
You know, um, where was I going next? So I came back to the treatment world a little bit, but only if I aligned with the people I was working with. I didn't come back because I needed to come back. I came back because I wanted to just kind of help people. I wanted to help people. Probation and parole was a little bit. I did a lot of great work in probation and parole, but I wasn't working for the state. I was working for a nonprofit that was funded through probation and parole. So I could only make so much money. I kind of like tapped out. Um, I was making the top what I could make, and so I wanted to do some extra, like to help some more people. And with probation and parole, it was also. Do you guys know California system at all?
No,
So
we do
so
not.
probation so the California probation and parole system, in I want to say 2010, 2012, they called it non. It was the reoffender, it was non-sex offender, non-violent, and no fire, non-arsonist. Non. They were releasing everybody to the street that was a non-sex offense, non-violent, no fire. And they could all be sent to a reentry house, like a sober living. It was being paid for by the state of California. Um, what was happening though is they were doing flash. They called it flash incarceration. So my job was to get people set up with their first jobs out of jail, get them set up with sober living or transitional living. Parole and probation would come in, and somebody tests positive for weed. We're doing a flash. We're arresting them. They do 10 days in jail, and they go back out again.
Back out. Okay.
Dirty test. They go back. So, and it was doing more damage than it was actually helping, because we're trying to get them set up with their jobs, sober living, school, and probation's coming in once, twice a month if they tested positive for weed, or if they tested positive for alcohol, and they're just doing these flash incarcerations. So it was doing more damage than anything else.
Wouldn't allow you
So-
to really like help somebody because there's a lot of starting and stopping, I would think, like
There was a
pulling
ton
them
of
out of
it. Yeah,
jobs.
it was, and probation, in their defense, those guys, probation and parole, those guys went from caseloads of, let's say, 50 to 350 because they were releasing everybody. So those guys didn't want to deal with people. You know, they were like, I liked my 50 caseload of 50. Now I got 350. Go ahead, smoke weed. I'm locking you up. I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
You know?
They couldn't
It
deal
was-
with that amount.
Yeah,
of
it's
people.
not manageable.
Yeah.
Not
So
manageable.
it was doing more damage. So it was just kind of like it was a constant
Revolving door.
Revolving door, exactly. That's the word I was looking for. So anyway, I came back to the treatment world, and I only worked with people that I aligned with. Refused to work with a lot of the treatment centers. Now, 2016, treatment in Southern California changed a lot. A lot of regulations came down. They changed a lot of things around 2016, 15, 16. They started putting cameras in treatment centers. They were really starting to monitor what was happening in the treatment world.
Who was monitoring those cameras? Because I think about like HIPAA and stuff like that. Like,
So I don't know. It wasn't the state. It wasn't the state, but they were making them.
is it just so they could have it, and if they needed to produce
for liability? Exactly. That's what it's for. So it was for liability reasons, because before the cameras, there were clients getting raped in their bedrooms by staff, by other clients. There were clients dying in their bedrooms. So I think it was more for liability. The treatment center was monitoring their own cameras, but they needed, somebody dies at 3:02 a.m. They need, or something happens at 3:02 a.m. I think that's what it was more for. And there was just a lot more regulations around 16, and they cleaned treatment up a little bit, and it got a lot better. I want to say it got a lot better. So from 16 to 20, it seemed like treatment. I mean, as far as the insurance fraud, that was still happening, but not like it was happening in 2010. Still happening though. I mean, it's still happening today. Anyway, I started coaching. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit now. But 2018, I started doing some sober coaching and sober companioning. And
what is a sober companion?
So what I do as a sober companion, I work with clients either post treatment or either before treatment or after treatment, to help them to get reestablished, to help them with that, to kind of get set back up in the community. So on the before treatment, what we do is just help them get to treatment. We put the pieces together, get them to residential treatment. We fly with them to residential treatment if needed, and kind of do the case management on the front end before getting them to treatment. While they're in treatment, we'll monitor, just kind of call and check in with them and just be a support for them, the client, while they're in treatment. And then after treatment, we work with a client for 30, 60, 90 days, sometimes longer, just to be a support for that person.
How's that different than an AA sponsor or an NA sponsor?
So as a sober,
because I know it is.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's
because people will say that, Ronnie. Well, that's the same thing as I have a sponsor. No, these are very different things.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a soul companion, I'm with that client 24 hours a day. I am taking on that client, everything that's going on in that client's life, and I'm helping them. I'm assisting them in managing their day to day.
So you're living with them 24 hours a day?
As a soul companion, I'm living with the client 24 hours a day. Yes.
Did you hear that? They're living with the client
Yeah.
24 hours a
Live in
day.
with the client
Yes.
24 hours a day.
That's a huge commitment for
It
you,
is a
by the
huge
way.
commitment. It is a huge commitment. I love it. My team doesn't like that I like to do it as much anymore. My team wants me doing more management stuff, and they want me doing more supervision.
Mhm.
I enjoy being on the ground with the clients. I
Yeah.
love watching that client grow. I love seeing the client grow. Where do I go? Sorry, my mouth's dry.
It's okay.
You
I
got
don't think people know what sober companion is. There's a there's a whole lot of different responsibilities and jobs and things like that in the addiction world that aren't
Yeah.
presented to the typical person. Like we know AODA counselors and things like that, but even recovery coaching is relatively a new space, especially where Jen and I are in the Midwest. Like
Yeah.
these concepts happened more on the coasts first, but the Midwest was like always late to the party. So a lot of our listeners here don't even know that this is sober companion is even a thing,
Yeah.
that somebody can actually live with you, 24/7 to make sure you're good until you don't need them anymore. That's an interesting thing, or, which is very different than an AA sponsor, because an AA sponsor is, I don't know, you call them. I don't even know how AA
Yeah.
sponsor works. Like,
Your
do you just
support,
call them when you, yeah,
AA
like, I
sponsor
have
would be
no idea.
support by phone. Yeah, you would be
Support
support
by
by phone.
phone.
Here's the thing about this, Ronnie, and if I'm viewing this wrong, tell me, because you do this for a living.
Yeah.
Something about the sober companion part of this that I think is probably extremely helpful is how much you have to probably teach people how to live their
Absolutely.
lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Again, it
Yep.
reminds me of working in the prisons and all the support that we had when someone would leave the prison.
Yep.
They didn't know how to live.
Absolutely.
They didn't know how to make a cup of coffee. They didn't know how to budget. They didn't know. I mean, same thing
Basic
when
stuff.
you're doing a active duty in the military. You're gone 4 years, or you've enlisted and you're living somewhere else, and you come back 4
Yep.
years later. You don't know how to acclimate to the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of these
Right?
clients, you're talking that were in their disease, in their addiction for years.
Years and years and years.
So we're cleaning up a lot of different messes.
Yeah,
We're
God,
trying to clean
How
up.
do you cook? How do you sleep? How do you budget? How do you
Yeah.
prioritize time? How do you all the things, right? Like,
Yeah.
I would imagine too, because this space is also an unregulated space.
Mhm.
There's no real regulatory bodies for these spaces. That there can be a lot of problematic things happening in the sober companion recovery coach space, right?
There is, unfortunately. There are a
Mhm.
lot of really bad players in the sober companion, sober coach world also.
yeah.
There
How does somebody know who's good and who's not? Like, how would
what
somebody
do you mean?
figure that out?
Well, I mean, it's you can just, so for me and my company, let me just use for example, when I call somebody and ask them, if I call you about a job and ask you, hey, Teralyn, I have a client that you'd be perfect for. Are you available for, I don't know, May 10th to May 30th? And the first thing you say to me is, how much are you going to pay me? That phone call's over. It shows me that you're interested in the money and not interested in helping the client. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who get sober and they think, oh, I'm going to be a sober companion. I'm going to be a
That's
sober
it.
coach.
Right there.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
And yeah, I mean, it's easy. There's no schooling behind it. There's no regulations. They get sober and they think, oh, I'm going to jump into this. It's very lucrative. That's all they hear. They see sober companions making X amount of money, and I'm going to do that. It's an easy job for me. I've been in jail. I've been in my addiction for 20 years. I'm going to go get paid.
Ronnie, you know what this reminds me of?
Yeah.
All of the therapists out there
Yep.
who became therapists because of all the trauma they had in their life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they are very ineffective therapists because they got through it, but they really didn't fucking do the work and do all the
That's
things.
right.
And here they are perpetuating the trauma. We hear that all the time. That is such a common thing, right?
Or
It's
just the idea that
weird.
I got sober like this. This is how I
Mhm.
got sober. A, B,
Yep.
C. This is
This
what
is
I
how you're
did.
gonna-
So
yep.
therefore, this is how you're gonna get sober
Yes.
too.
Absolutely. Yes.
And
Yep.
I'm gonna be the one just because I'm sober that gives me the credibility to help with your sobriety, and that's all. And so
Yeah.
I think that is a spot where there can be a big money grab and problematic
yeah.
areas for people, because how do you know who is as an average person? If I'm like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
listening to this podcast and I'm like, a sober
Yeah.
companion, that sounds like a fantastic idea, right? How do you vet a company?
So
Right? Because it's not just you saying to me, like, I'm a sober companion, you have a client for me, and I'm like, how much money are you willing to pay? That's
Yeah.
different than me being a mom who has a kid that needs a sober companion and calling you. Like, how do you know who is legitimate in this space? This is crazy. This is like the wild, wild west.
Yeah, it is. That's perfect. It is the wild, wild west. So I tell families all the time to trust your gut, do your research, read reviews, trust your gut. Because you're gonna hear everybody's gonna tell you, oh yeah, we're perfect for your child. We're perfect for your husband.
The recovery
know?
centers say the same thing.
Yeah,
They all say the same thing.
it's trust your gut. Trust your gut, read the reviews, do some background, do an hour of background information on that person. Just a little bit. It doesn't take that much to find out that somebody's was arrested last year for a violent crime. Or, just do a little bit of research. Nowadays with AI and everything else, I mean, just do
Yeah, no
some
kidding.
research. Just do some
Gets to be a
research.
little bit easier now, for sure.
I tell families all the time, trust your gut. And if they're telling you that they're going to solve your problems, that they're the right fit, there's a problem. There's a problem right there. If they're telling you they're the gold standard, they're probably
Gold
not.
standard.
Yeah, they're probably not. Yeah. Yeah, I hear it all the time with treatment centers. We are the gold standard. It's like,
Gold
get the fuck
standard.
outta
We
here.
are the gold standard. Oh,
Yeah,
Jen and I talk about the
like,
gold standard bullshit all the time.
yeah, it's
I
like, get
just
the fuck
can't.
out. If I have to say that about myself,
Get the
there's a
fuck out.
problem.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I can't.
Like,
I
if I
have
had
like
to
a
tell you
It's like
physiological.
dating. It's like dating when you're trying to date someone and they lead with "I'm a good guy."
Yeah.
They're not a good guy. Like, I'm the
Yeah.
gold standard. That person is not the gold standard, and that
So,
recovery center
yeah.
is not the gold standard.
There's a treatment center. There's an owner of a treatment center. He goes on video all the time. And that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth. We are the gold standard. And I look at him and I think to myself, like, do
No,
you
you're not.
realize that your fucking ego is blasted all over the screen right now? Like, you're 3 feet tall and you're fucking talking about you're the gold standard. Like, stop.
I think what I think is helpful if you're someone listening to this and you're trying to figure out what to do. One of
Yeah.
the questions that I think is really helpful to ask is, okay, so you're telling me I'm a good fit for you. Tell me how many people in the last 60 days or 90 days at your treatment facility were not a good fit for you.
Oh,
How
that's a
many-
great
Yes.
question.
How many people
That is great.
How many people did you actually turn away because you don't align? This is like an epiphany I think I had like a year ago when I had someone calling me asking me about deprescribing. They're like, how many people have you worked with? Because I talked to Dr. Yosef. Shout out Dr. Yosef. I talked to him and he's seen 5,000 people or whatever. And I said, well, I'm not going to tell you how many people I've helped. I'm going to tell you how many people I've said, I'm not your girl.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that means something, right? I'm going to tell. I told 3 people last month, I'm not the clinician for you. I'm not the deprescriber for you. I'm going to tell you why. That I think is really important. That's part of the vetting process, right?
Absolutely. So that's actually, I'm glad you said that because so my company, we do that all the time. Like, there's clients we won't take.
Correct.
We're not the right fit. We are not the right fit. I don't care how much money you have. I'm going to give you a little example. I had some billionaire calling us 2 months ago saying,
me
just
too.
help my child. Just help my child. I mean, no, but this is like a legit, like,
This is true.
like, help my child. And it's like, your child doesn't want help. And I said this in an email, like, we can take your money, but that's not who we are. If you're just going to try to pay us, I know, I see what's happening here. You're trying to pay all these people and you're getting robbed from all these people, but we're not going to do that. I mean, we don't want your money. Your child's not ready yet, unfortunately. I mean, the reality is like, yeah, you can throw all this money and continue to throw. There are plenty of companies that take your money. We're not doing it. We're not
That's right.
I
taking your
love
money.
that. I love
Yeah,
that.
we're not doing it. And the dad was pissed off at me
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? You don't even know who I am? Like, don't
Yeah.
you know who I know? And
Well,
it's
that's
like
because the money had talked all the time, right? Like,
always,
yeah.
absolutely,
Mhm.
yes.
Surprised the Italian didn't come on. You want to know who I am? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't even
yeah,
know who I am.
You don't even know who I am.
yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you
I was
mind?
being
We only have a
sassy.
few minutes left here. Would you mind sharing
was
about the
quick.
project that we were just on?
Yeah, absolutely. So, that was quick. That was a quick 40 minutes, 45
I know
minutes.
it's 45. We're at
Yeah.
almost 45 minutes now. So yeah.
So I was asked a couple months ago to be in this movie, and it's not for me. Podcasts are not for me. I don't normally do this kind of stuff.
No,
But
we brought
my
him
team,
out. Like we're like, bring it. We're like,
Well, you're in it now, so
yeah.
so my team has been pushing, Ronnie, you need to do more of this stuff. We need you out there. Everybody wants to deal with you. Everybody wants to talk to you. And I'm like, no, I want to work with the clients. So I'm starting to do more of this podcast stuff, and I was asked to do the movie. And because of those who are involved in the movie, I immediately said yes. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know whatever you guys are going to put me in, but if you guys are involved, I'm involved. I'm ready. Sign me up. I'll do this. Scared to death because I don't want to be on camera, but I'm ready.
You
know?
did a good job. You did a really good job.
Yeah.
So
And
he's talking about Dr. Callie Estes, and she was just on our show a couple of episodes ago before you got here too. And so she is the one who, I guess, the brainchild of the entire movie. Yeah. And so the whole idea of the movie is to
exposing the treatment industry and the
That's
dirt
right.
and the dirt behind and the shadiness, not just the residential treatment world, but all of the treatment world. The horrible therapists, the horrible companion companies, case management companies, just the chaos that happens in this world that is the behavioral health world,
Yes.
just the chaos. And I think it's gonna be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Me too.
Dr. Tara had us in line the whole time.
Poor Ronnie gets on the show today, guys, and he comes on and she's like, "Fix your face, fix the light, get closer to the camera, move it." Like, and I mean, we were
was great.
30 seconds in, guys, and I'm sitting here watching this dynamic. I'm like, this is the shit that happened on the movie set, wasn't it?
It was
is.
great,
It was
though.
just
It
like
was
this.
so good. It was so good for her to do it, though. It was because I mean, the three with Dr. Callie, Michael, and myself, we were like three kids acting up. I mean, and like Michael's the only one with TV experience. Michael's got a ton of TV experience. But Dr. Callie and I were just like little kids.
It's
and
like
playing-
herding cats.
Yeah, it was.
You guys
But it was great.
fucking around like little 10-year-olds.
We were. It was so much fun. I got Dr. Tara in the Waymo.
Oh, the
Like, it was
Waymo.
the only thing I cared about for the whole taping was getting her in the Waymo.
I know.
The
What are
drive-
you
so
talking?
sweet.
All right, time out.
Driverless-
Speak English. What are you talking? What is that?
A
A
car with
driverless
no
car.
driver. Driverless car. AI
Waymo?
drives.
Waymo.
Waymo.
Yes.
Waymo. I am from Wisconsin. I know
Yeah.
none of this, right? I'm out of the
Yes.
yeah. It's explained.
I
Yeah,
only
you
wanted to
need-
be in a Waymo because my son wanted to be in a Waymo and he didn't get into a Waymo. So I got in a Waymo first because Ronnie called the Waymo and got us in the Waymo. And then we felt bad for the Waymo. And it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. But I
Yeah,
feel
really-
bad for a Waymo.
So yes,
Oh my
yes,
God.
you have a relationship
can't.
with the Waymo. You need
have a
to say
relationship.
hi.
I can't. I go to
Yeah.
meat markets for fun. Like, oh boy, you guys are okay.
It's so crazy. Yeah, the Waymo's crazy. But it was like that was my goal, was getting her in the Waymo the whole
It was. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that a lot.
Oh, well, it is.
And my goal was to make him look nice for camera. So it was
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Well, it's been an honor to meet you, Ronnie. I was kind of the odd
Thank
man
you.
out on the show today because I've never met you before, and you guys already got your frenzy thing going. But it was really great to hear your story. I think it's great for our listeners to hear this.
Yeah, it was
People
great.
do not understand the addiction community, the mental health community, and the horrific things that are occurring. And they're still happening now. If anybody
Absolutely.
followed Ronnie's timelines, he ain't talking about what happened in 1975. All right.
No.
Yep.
He was in 2020 sharing things that are going on and still going on today.
Yep.
So we have to, as our show says, we have to get curious about all sides of things, even if it's hard truths. We need to hear them. We need to know this is happening. And if you or somebody that you love is in a position to have to make choices to start doing treatment, whether it's inpatient or outpatient, or thinking about having a sober companion, this is the shit you got to be aware of. Right?
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of the take home. So
That's the take home.
that's the take home, people. All right. Well, we are the Gaslit Truth Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you would like to send us your Gaslit Truth stories, you can do so at the Gaslit Truth Podcast at gmail.com. Make sure that you give us some love. Get out, show us some love for Ronnie. We would love some comments from this episode. And Ronnie, do you want to say the name of your business or do you not?
No, it's fine. The name of my company is Counseling Unlimited.
Okay.
Yeah, check out the website. Again, I want to say one more time. Also, do your research. If your loved one needs to go to treatment, don't trust the first person you call. Don't call that 800 number and they tell you that it's a perfect
We didn't even
fit.
talk about that, but anyway, don't call those 800 numbers.
Yeah, don't call the 800 number. Do your research. Read the reviews, the good and the bad, and see how far back those bad ones are. Do your research. Takes an hour of your time. Don't send your loved one to a treatment center or a companion company without doing the research.
Love it.
Beautiful. Good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ronnie, for coming on the show. And thanks,
Absolutely.
everybody, for listening.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
thank you.